Welcome to Redacted and Expunged. I am Michael, and as usual, I have Tristan with me. How you doing, Tristan?
Good. How you doing, Mike?
Doing pretty good, Today we are doing SCP-495, the Thingmaker. Oh man, this one's got me kind of excited, dude. The Thingmaker.
This is a good nostalgic piece.
Oh yeah. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we got a short article. We'll just read it and bang it out through, and then get into talking about it.
Yeah, so first, let's just talk about the picture here.
We got a creepy crawler / Thingmaker here. Doesn't look anything special about it. Just looks pretty mundane. This is your little plastic oven.
For anybody who wasn't like a child in the 70s or the 90s, it's a creepy crawler machine, which is like a kind of like the boys' version of an easy bake oven, but instead of cooking like brownies and stuff, you made like little worms and bugs and stuff out of like this. They called it Plastigoop. And they're just like fun little things where like you worked with essentially like this hot plate to make these bugs. And I just looked it up, and like those things would get up to like 390 degrees.
Yeah, they had to discontinue them like in the 70s because they weren't holding up to like safety practices for toys.
Even the quote unquote safe one from the 90s, like they still got insanely hot.
They did. I actually owned one. This is why I was really excited.
I owned one too.
I think I was around like 11, 12, I had one. And then, this thing's got, you gotta be careful. And they give you those like plastic tong things that take the plate out. And the tong things are like still too short. So I was like sticking my hand inside the like orange duckbill thing in the front where it was like 2000 degrees.
I think I remember like sticking like a knife in there once, like a butter knife to like pull the thing out.
I imagine it's still on. You're just like, come on.
And like the Plastigoop would like give off these fumes. So I'm sure I lost quite a few IQ points from that.
Dude, dank highs off that.
Oh yeah. So let's quit joking around and get into the actual SCP, I guess. Enough reminiscing.
All right. Item number SCP-495, object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-495 is to be kept in a locked room, plugged into a standard active 120-volt power outlet when not in use. A life-size mold of a clam, oyster, or other species of sessile bivalve. I'm hoping you use your editing powers while you just put in the right one at the right time.
Yeah, except I don't know the right one, so I'm just going to use all of them.
Sessile bivalli. We'll say Sessile bivalli. Is to be stored within...
Get Italian here.
Within 495. The mold is to be contained no more than 100, also in parentheses, 100 grams of wax. In the event of a power failure, at least one level 1 security personnel must enter the storage room and monitor the item for activity until power is restored. Researchers wishing to use 495 must written a description of the planned experiment to Dr. Okay, I already went through this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. So we're just gonna say it's Dr. Michael. Due to the results of experiment 495 so we got redacted here with 2 things. We'll just say it's 23 because that's my lucky number. All molds and materials must be approved by at least one level 3. What? What? I'm reading.
Did you conduct these experiments?
No, I can neither confirm nor deny.
I feel like you're hiding something from me.
I messed with 495 when I was 11 or 12. I was the original owner of 495, so.
And you called yourself Dr. Michael.
Dr. Michael. And I did many experiments with it. And I kept track of every single experiment. Actually, the weird thing was, I remember with some of the creepy crawlers, I made like really crazy ones. And I actually did name them. Because I just like, I went like legit like artwork with them. Like I had a toothpick, like moving the molds around to make like swirly effects.
Okay.
And stuff. But so yeah, I guess those have been my experience back in the day. Before you rudely interrupted me. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All molds and materials must be approved by at least one level 3 or higher personnel before use with 495. At least one personnel with experience treating venomous bites and stings must be available on standby while 495 is in use.
Oh, I'm excited for that one.
So I mean, this thing's, well, I'm gonna say it's the easiest of easiest containment because you can't just throw it in a locker and it'll be okay, because if you throw it in the locker, that's when it starts doing its crazy thing. So you just gotta keep this thing plugged in on a power failure, one level 1 security guy. And there's a reason they want a mold of clams or whatever it was, this clams, oysters, and other species, but we'll get into that pretty soon.
Bivalves.
the Cecilia Bivillias. All right, so we'll go into the description. 495 appears to be the oven from a 1992 Toy Max Creepy Crawlers playset. save that the Creepy Crawlers logo sticker has been replaced with the logo from the 1964 Thingmaker's hot plate, a toy of virtually identical function to the more recent Toy Max version, discontinued by Mattel in the 1970s due to insufficient safety features. I gave us a little lore there. That's nice.
Real life lore.
While 495 is plugged to the standard 120 volt power outlet, it functions as a normal creepy crawler oven. When not plugged into the power outlet, 495 displays the following anomalous behavior.
So this is what happens when it's not plugged in, which it gets weird at that point.
And the thing is, when you unplug it, it's like, what's powering it still?
See, I kind of like that, like the idea of something being unplugged but still doing stuff.
But also it does like a supernatural thing when it's unplugged. So it's being powered by, something unplugged and supernatural. And if this thing can just run unlimited power with nothing plugged in, this thing's like essentially it's an infinite power source.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. The SCP should look into using that for as a infinite power.
Like perpetual motion kind of thing.
Yeah, it only generates 250 degrees of heat. But all right, so behavior is when it's not plugged in. Upon insertion of a fill or partially filled mold, 495's activation switch moves to the on position automatically. The internal heating lamp appears to remain unlit, so that's kind of weird. But the oven begins to gain warmth from unknown source, reaching a peak of internal temperatures of 257.2 degrees Celsius. Oh my gosh. Oh, what is that? Okay, I know this from our last one. We figured out it was Celsius, just roughly double it and add a number, I think was. So it's it's 500 degrees.
That's 494 degrees, roughly.
It's 494 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's pretty up there.
Yeah, that's...
But granted, those things cooked a creepy crawler in 10 minutes, so... I guess,
the real life version got up to 350, so this is considerably hotter than the regular creepy crawler's machine.
Alright, so I guess it was measured by infrared camera. After approximately 8 minutes, not 10, 495 the activation switch moves to off position automatically, contrary to the behavior of a standard Toy Max creepy crawler oven. 495's door opened immediately instead of remaining locked while the mold cools. So yeah, it's kind of got again, just this whole automated power source. Yeah, opens the door automatically, closes it. You got this heating source going on. All mold items will animate upon removal from the oven, behaving as though were natural organisms. Animated objects are physically detailed well beyond their molds would seem to allow, appearing physically identical to their natural counterparts, save for the unusual coloration corresponding to the material used to fill their molds. Dissection of animated objects reveals tissues and other internal structures composed entirely of whatever materials was used to fill in the mold. So that's interesting. So you do I forgot what the plastic goop, let's just say it was I don't know, a plastic goop would be based off of, I don't know, silicone or silicone.
Yeah,
or
I have no idea. I just know it as plastic goop.
I'm sure, I know there's different versions of it. I'm sure they're made by different chemicals, but it's kind of interesting that you take this creature apart, look at its organs, it's part, plastic, part organic. It's kind of weird, a hybrid fusion thing going on here. All right, actually, we'll talk more about this after I mention the last thing here. Any substance and mold used with 495 will produce results. Handmade molds or substances other than Toy Max or Mattel plastic goop, such as chocolate or wax, will result in animate objects. So yeah, I could make essentially one of those animated Harry Potter chocolate frogs.
Dude, you would make a killing though. Think of all the Harry Potter people who would buy that.
Oh yeah, but then the crazy thing is if you dissected it, it would have all these organs, but they'd be chocolate organs. And you take it to a science lab, it's a frog's intestines, but we're getting a lot of high numbers of cocoa. They're also...
Imagining eating it, my stomach's kind of churning, just the idea of you bite into it and you pull chocolate guts out of it.
That's kind of weird. I was out with the Harry Potter thing, I want to take a chomp out of this animated object. I don't know, it just seems kind of weird.
A little bit.
But yeah, we totally just skipped over the actual anomalous thing about it, where when you remove the object, it comes alive.
We're more interested in what happens when we eat it.
Well, and the crazy thing also, it says, handmade molds or substance other than that. So with the handmade molds, you can make whatever creature or thing you want, put it in there, and it comes out alive.
So a brand new creature.
Yeah, you can just essentially make your own, as long as you can, I don't know what the molds are made out of, steel?
Some sort of metal, I think.
Yeah, as long as you could just have some way to make molds. All right. So we do have an addendum after this. An addendum says, just because they're made of plastic doesn't mean they're safe. Where the venom comes from, I don't know. But let's see how many spaces you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll say Agent Smith's, I think that was our one for 6, is now in the infirmary after being bitten by a tiny purple asp. please treat the products of 495 as you would any venomous animal. So I guess even like venoms and stuff carry over from the plastic goop or, chocolate. So you can make a venomous chocolate. Have someone eat a tiny purple asp. I'm sorry, the doctor, he's redacted, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He'll say it's the same Dr. Michael.
Yeah, Dr. You.
Yes, Dr. Me.
So, do you think they're venomous, like because that's the animal that it was modeled after, or do you think like all of them could come out venomous, like even like the mussels and clams and stuff?
I think the ones that are venomous just come out venomous. But the curious thing, I wonder, let's say if I made a custom mold, but I say, oh, this is the custom mold of my venomous clam monster.
Your OC.
My OC monster I'm going to put in. Would it come out venomous? Because my intentions were this creature that I created was venomous.
Yeah, I feel like it could, because those are your intentions. Like, that's technically like what the quote-unquote creature is supposed to be.
Well, the creepy thing about this creepy crawlers thing is some of the molds are people. Like, there's some superhero ones or some monsters. Like,
and I think
monsters.
They had like a Power Rangers one. Like,
yes. Actually, I guess we'll go outside influence in media, but I guess we'll go... we're done with the reading. That's it. It's a really short article.
Yeah.
I guess let's go into creation to containment. So, how do you think this thing was created, Tristan?
Okay, so do you know the Child's Play movie where like
yes.
the criminal gets killed as he's holding the toy and he like curses himself into the toy?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like that, but instead of like holding a Chucky doll, he was holding a Creepy Crawlers unit. So it's just like some asshole like in a Creepy Crawlers thing, like possessing it.
Black Magic 495. I just see him standing over it, putting his hands on it, like dark clouds forming over him. Just like,
well, because I mean, magic exists in the SCP universe, doesn't it? Like,
oh yes, yeah.
So I feel like that's a plausible thing. And then it was sold to a kid who was then killed by his little Creepy Crawlers.
And then SCP picked it up and
yeah.
I think it was there's a guy in SCP lore named Dr. Wondertainment.
Okay.
He makes like anomalous toys and like sends them to SCP, or if SCP finds them. He just makes things like a magical toy maker.
Okay.
And I was thinking like something like this might have been like a test model he had. Somehow it got loose, or SCP figured it out in Dr. Wondertainment facility and brought this in.
I feel like your Dr. Wondertainment theory holds more water than my Child's Play reboot theory.
But will the Thingmaker be voiced by Mark Hamill?
Oh no, it's going to be voiced by Brad Dourif, the original actor from Child's Play.
Nice.
I'm a purist.
So I mean that's about it. Like, this thing isn't like super crazy. The article's short, so I didn't get into super detail. But I guess maybe one thing about it is like what's powering it. I guess we both agreed kind of magic. I mean, I'm just trying to imagine like if you were to take this thing apart, like what would you find? Like, oh, this is the thing that's making it do the magical stuff.
I mean, maybe it's like a portal to another dimension kind of thing. Like,
that's true. It's like a portal, and like spirits come out and go inside the creepy crawler things, and that animates them, gives them life, essentially.
When they kind of possess it.
Yeah, it's kind of a...
See, the thing is, like, with the SCP Foundation, when they receive items like this, like items that aren't sentient or sapient, or like things that can be taken apart, like, do they ever take them apart to see how it functions? Like, to me...
Sometimes they do.
I'd always be so curious, like, I'd want to take this apart to see how it works.
Yeah, same here. Maybe they can't take it apart without breaking it, and I guess their policy is they don't break stuff.
I mean, unless they absolutely have to.
And there's always the convenient thing where it's like, we tried to break into it, but we can't. It's impervious.
Yeah, that's a good old Deus Ex Machina there.
All right, so... that's it for creation to containment. Nothing too crazy. We just got some magical Frankenstein portals bringing things to life. I guess interaction with other SCPs would be kind of interesting.
What I would want to see is to see how the venom works on other SCPs.
That's true. Yeah, especially if you can make your own like venomous creatures,
yeah.
And because what happens if you say like this creature has the venom to kill this SCP or do something to this SCP? So you're with your OC creepy crawler. I'm gonna call it OCCC. With your OCCC, you can just say like, I want this venom to extract the truth from 682, no matter what. I mean, of course, you'll figure a way around it, but at least maybe get one question out of him. But you can make it multi-purpose. It doesn't have to be like the person dies from the venom. You can make a 906. I don't.
A tiny little 173.
But I mean, seriously, like 906 though, if like you make the mold with the intention saying this is a 906 worm and you put it in and you pull out, I wonder if it'll make anomalous creatures like other SCP creatures.
That would be fun to play with. I like that idea of like recreating tiny versions of other SCPs. Yeah,
it's anything. Yeah, I can imagine inanimate object or small SCP, living SCPs, you can recreate it. Or like some SCPs like died like of natural causes. And I remember there was one like a spider, like a talking spider that died. And I wonder if they can make a mold of that and like like do the goop, bring it out, and hey, you have another talking spider.
Get a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can do with other SCPs. You know, it's an inanimate object, so it's not like it can fight anything.
But I wonder with this thing, if it brings things to life, I wonder if you put something that's its intention was to be inanimate, and you pull it out and it's like alive. So say like we did like a ring, put it in, pull out the ring. Maybe the ring's not moving around or something, but like it's talking. Or if you wear it, it talks to you. That'd be kind of interesting. Or you could make like a blanket, and then when you pull it out, it's like rolling around.
A blanket made out of plastic goop, like, ugh.
Yeah, that would look kind of weird.
It would feel a little weird to put on your body. I wouldn't want to put that on my body.
Or maybe if you fill it full of like, I don't know, some kind of threading that I use for blankets. It just fill the mold with that and put it in. Hopefully it doesn't catch fire. Pull it out, then maybe it's a blanket made out of that material.
Or you just burn down the SCP complex.
So what happened? Well, I tried to make a blanket thing out of 495, and I burned down the entire thing, causing a massive containment breach of all these SCP.
If you did make a blanket, it'd be more of a quilt, because you've got like these little like 4-inch by 4-inch squares that you can make it. So like it'd be a quilt.
Yeah. All right, so I guess the big chunk of this will be media and outside influence. I mean, the outside influence is pretty blatant here when you just got the...
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty big cultural staple of the 90s.
But the idea of it, though, like of it bringing stuff to life, it totally reminds me of the book series I'm sure we all read as kids, at least 90s kids, Indian in the Cupboard. Because essentially almost works the same way. But at least with this, though, you can kind of make your own custom stuff and put it in. But with Indian in the Cupboard, though, you can put bigger stuff in there. So you can put like a whole big action figure.
I kind of like it makes me think a little bit of like Frankensteinian almost.
Yeah, as you kind of a creation of the containment. Yeah, I imagine with the whole portal thing. Yeah, it's like it's pulling like spirits out from the world,
or just the idea of making life out of not life, basically.
But yeah, I was looking through like all the different molds they had from the creepy crawler molds. They had stuff like you mentioned earlier, Power Rangers. They had superhero ones like Spider-Man. The scariest one would be they have a Superman one. So I just imagine someone's like, I bet SCP is like, you cannot use a Superman mold.
A little 2-inch like infinitely powerful creature.
But one of the ones I had as a kid, I couldn't find what the name was or the actual molds, but the mold was I think it was the one. It was like a cockroach was one of them. It had like an empty, like if the mold was filled in the middle.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then so when you pour the goop and you're done, there was this empty space in the middle, and what you're supposed to do with it, you're supposed to like drape it over like this little like mechanical legs, and so you turn it on, so it's like the cockroach is walking. But I wonder with the 495, if I did something like that and I made some and I slapped it onto the thing, it would like fuse and make some like cyborg bug. They had some that were just like flowers and artistic kind of stuff. Some are just random doodads.
As far as I know, like creepy crawlers are still a thing. Like they aren't as popular. From what I read, they still exist. Like at least up until like the 2000s. So they're making like Pokemon molds with them too.
Yeah. So, I have the one I kept finding newest one was a Star Wars. But it was like the Star Wars Clone Wars series, it looks like. Okay. But it would just make like little discs with like the picture of the character on it. Lame. Yeah, but the funny thing is, I would just love with 495 when you do that, you could pull it out and like it's like screaming on the coin, like, just kill me! It's like, I only have half my body or something, or like...
But yeah, I looked it up and at least a few years ago, I couldn't find anything newer than like 2016, but they're talking about making like child-friendly 3D printers.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be like a creepy crawler 3D printer. So it'd be like plastic and not like goop, like a gelatin kind of mold, but it would basically be like a 3D printer for kids, which is kind of a neat idea, I feel like.
That's cool.
Like, I would have loved a 3D printer when I was a kid.
Well, they have one mold here. I think this is a creepy crawler mold. It's actually pretty cool. It's a Han Solo frozen in kryptonite.
That's a genius idea for a creepy crawler, though.
I mean, Tristan, if you had 495, what would you be making with it? Assuming you had the ability to make custom molds, too, and all that. You can do anything you want.
I mean, because you can't really make anything too big, because, like, those little panels, like, they weren't that big.
No.
So I think I'd like go with my capitalist tendencies and make the chocolate frog from Harry Potter, and I would just make a killing. Like I would be like a millionaire in a week selling these chocolate frogs to Harry Potter nerds.
I think I'd just be experimenting by trying to make the ultimate monster. Like I just have my OCCC, like his power is that he has all the powers, but he can't beat me.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, we don't really know the capabilities of this, so, like, we don't know... Like, if you did make your own OC for this thing, like, you don't know how much of it would take in.
Yeah.
So, like, if you said, like, I wanted to spit acid, you don't know if it would if it would come out to spit acid.
Yeah, like if I just made a frog triple OC, I put it in and said I want it to be able to fly, without assistance and, shoot laser beams out of its eyes, and I pull it out and all I get is a frog,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it looks like how I want it to look like, but doesn't do what I want to do.
For all we know, like all of them are venomous. Potentially, they all could be venomous.
Could be.
So you could make like a little Spider-Man that just like spits venom at everybody.
I was gonna say you have a venomous Superman.
Yeah, like how to make Superman scarier.
That'd be weird. I'd feel too weird making people now I think about it. Because like, it's like, what am I supposed to do with this person? This poor guy's stuck. He's this little tiny guy. I mean, unless it's like a Superman one, then he's fine. He'll do just fine here, but...
There's a lot of like weird ethical ramifications of that I just really don't want to get into.
I'm going to make 1 trillion of them and they're going to build me a pyramid, all right?
They will worship me as a god.
With my Power Rangers by my side. They also had like a bug maker, which like made like bigger ones, like way bigger ones. That kind of sucks. I wish that would have been possessed to make animated stuff.
Yeah, so you can make bigger stuff. Like I feel like you're really limited.
Yeah, I mean, man, this is something I could just imagine just having fun with, like just... I mean, I wouldn't tell a soul about this maybe because people think I'm crazy.
And see, the problem is I feel like we would go too far with this and we could end up like ending the world because we made too many venomous spiders that just went crazy and took over the world. The object class is safe, but like I feel like we could turn it into something that just really screws everybody over.
Somehow. That should be a thing, like what would it take or what would we do to make this thing a higher like upgrade class? Like what would it take to make 495 into like a Keter level, thing? But assuming you don't have to change the object itself. I mean, the obvious change would make it like, oh, it's super huge, you're gonna make kaiju. But I mean, but how would it make it world destroying but stay its normal, 495 creepy crawler size?
When you have it unplugged, it works itself. So like,
I think you still have to pull the mold out. Like, but maybe if like some evil guy can make like an automation system with it, where he can just keep them going all day and just make an army of whatever insects. And if the triple OC thing works, you can just make the thing where they breed like crazy and just their numbers multiply really fast. And you just overtake the world. And of course, they don't attack me. But you always gotta make sure that rule.
Or like if it did its anomalous stuff even when it was plugged in, like that'd make it a lot more dangerous, I feel like. Because then it would just be making stuff all the time instead of just making stuff when it's unplugged.
Ooh, some of the molds, they have a Mickey Mouse mold, so you can make a Mickey.
And then get sued by Disney immediately. Or
you hold them hostage from Disney and say, I'll kill him. And I'll kill the mouse, and there goes all your profits, even though you don't use Mickey for anything anymore. It's all Marvel and, what's the other thing? Star Wars.
Did you really forget what Star Wars was?
Yeah, I kind of did.
I think it's for the best if we all forget what Star Wars is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this thing's pretty wild, but I always wondered, like, with inanimate objects, though, like, how would that work? Like I said, like, would it become animate?
Yeah, it might not, since it's not an animate thing. If you just, like you said, made a ring, like, there's no organs in it, like, it's just an inanimate object.
Or maybe that's the creepy thing. They cut the ring up and they realize, oh, there's organs inside this ring. It's a whole living creature, but it's kind of like maybe like some kind of mollusk kind of creature where it's just...
Yeah, that'd be disturbing.
That would be weird. Then I'd want to experiment around with that and say, like, okay, I want to see what kind of living stuff, or like inanimate living stuff I can make. And that'd be weird. All right, so we'll move on to, I guess, survival. But
we didn't do the movie.
Movie idea.
I had an idea for a movie for this.
Okay.
So because it's a product of the 90s, like it kind of gives me like Goosebumps vibes.
Okay.
So I feel like making like a 90s Goosebumps kind of movie could be fun, where like this kid buys this creepy crawler set and the anomalous stuff happens and it goes crazy and he has to like stop the little creatures from like taking over his neighborhood. So it'd be like a 90s child friendly kind of horror movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like nothing too crazy. It's just a kid accidentally making creatures that take over the neighborhood.
I wonder though, if the creepy crawlers, like we could use any material. I wonder if you put the goop in, but add in like a couple drops of your blood.
Oh shit!
I wonder how that would like affect the thing.
That's
like,
just how you make old gods.
Or no, maybe that's what you do with the inanimate objects. Like with the goop, you use like blood, or maybe just cram hamburger in the mold and you stick it in there, and then it comes out. Oh yeah, you take the hamburger, then you encase gold around it, and then you stick it in the creepy crawler machine.
To what purpose?
I don't know. Just try to make a living. Like I'm still stuck on the living ring idea, or like how that would work.
You just want to create a being of suffering, is what you want to do.
I mean, it doesn't have to have it doesn't have like nerves or anything. Like I assume it's kind of like a mollusk. It's just there. It just kind of exists. I mean, they did make a TV series out of this. I'll mention that.
They did.
Yeah, there was like a 13 episode cartoon for the creepy crawlers.
Oh crap!
Thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was in the 90s, so of course that's when they made shows to promote the toys.
Wait, didn't they have like a brand of like gummies for a little bit?
Probably did.
I feel like that's a memory buried deep down within my mind that I've repressed.
I'm sure they made probably like an edible version also of the creepy
just to
crawler
confuse
machine.
Children.
Yeah, or like for those boys are like, man, like look at the easy bake ovens, like, dude, I want to make some food. Cause I thought that also. I looked at the easy bake ovens, like maybe I want one of those shitty plastic hamburgers that they make out of there. It's like most of the time I want to make my bugs, but like I might get hungry making bugs. I want to make a crap burger.
No, what I'm thinking of, it's something different. It was like kind of like creepy crawlers, but you made candy instead of creepy crawlers. So it was like a similar idea, just with candy instead of
someone like you like mix the powder.
Yeah, and it's like it's in the skull, so you like make his brains and you make snot and like stuff like that.
I remember that.
Yeah. I remember my nephews had one. We played with that one afternoon, and it was kind of fun, except like the candy wasn't that great.
Oh, all right, man. So I guess we'll move on to survival.
And there's not really a lot to survive.
Just don't make dangerous stuff with it. Yeah, or don't make poisonous stuff. Don't make little supermen.
Yeah, or just keep it plugged in. Like just use it as its function is supposed to be.
Plugged in. Yeah, even if like the power goes out, you can plug it into like a generator. But I mean, even if the power does go out, you just doesn't really do anything. I mean, as long as it doesn't have a mold or wax in it. Yeah,
or if it just has like a clam in there.
I mean, when you're done, you can just throw in a pot of boiling water. And that's another thing. Consider like use as a food source. I don't think it'd be cost effective though.
Yeah, probably not.
Or maybe you could do is take the hamburger, make the mold, put like the crappy like $1.99 hamburger in there, but the mold is of wink like Wagyu beef, like that $100 a pound like Japanese beef. So when you put it in the maker and pull it out, now it gets turned into like Wagyu beef. But then it'll be animated, so you just get made like a meat monster. You made Meat Wad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, essentially.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, it's survival. It's not that dangerous.
Yeah, there's nothing really to survive.
So I guess we'll go into the rankings of it. First thing we'll do is containment. I mean,
this thing's super easy to contain.
Super easy. It's because I wouldn't say it's just a 1 because it does do something if you're not. It can do stuff when you're not messing with it. Like as the power goes out, it does.
Yeah, like its object class is safe, but it's not like 100% safe. Like there's a little bit, like there's tiny little wiggle room there.
So I would give this thing really low. Like I think we gave like 906 like a 3. So
yeah, I'd probably just give it a 1 just because.
Give a good. Yeah, I give it a 1 just
because I mean 906 we made a 3, and this is way safer than 906.
Yeah. Then we got danger. Like danger is kind of like survival. A lot of times you just, I mean, this one, I mean, it goes most SCPs.
Like if we encountered this in the wild, how dangerous would it be?
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd be any more dangerous. Of course, SCP is more well equipped to deal with stuff, but like, it just seems like it'd be the same almost as if it was contained or uncontained. Just as long as you're not stupid and you like.
Yeah, the only way it would be dangerous is if you're leaving molds in there.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
I mean, you generally wouldn't do that, really.
Yeah, because the door would open and little creatures would crawl out, and yeah, I guess there's that, but still, that's massive incompetence usually. I mean, if it's like uncontained, some kid did it, I'd understand, especially if they didn't understand the concept of it the first time. I guess for danger, I'm just gonna give this one just a 1.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then suckiness, how much it would suck to work around this, anything, maintaining it, maybe just researching it, maybe being the guy just all he does all day is sticks molds and goop in there and just record stuff. But I don't know if this suckiness, I was almost want to say it would be negative suckiness because I'd almost have fun doing this.
Yeah, this sounds like it'd be a good time, really.
It's like as long as I'm aware of making a poisonous creature, then I can just wear protective gear or have an anti-venom ready to go.
Yeah, I'd go to like a 0, honestly, just because like it doesn't suck at all to contain.
You know what? We'll do the opposite. We'll do -1 to -10. -1 being a little bit fun, -10 being the funnest thing in the world to work with.
I'd give it like I don't know, maybe a 4 or 5 because like it's gonna be fun, but this kind of thing gets boring after a little bit.
That's true. But at least you can make your own molds,
and make your own creatures.
Yeah, make your triple C's. Yeah, I'll say I'll give it a -5.
Okay, we'll stick with -5.
Yeah, we'll go -5. There we go. I'm sticking to this rule. It's a new rule.
Yeah, because some SCPs like generally are just kind of fun. Like
not
all of them are scary horror shows. Like some are just enjoyable.
Some might suck if maybe if you're the first guy working with them. But like if you have it figured out, it's like, hey, as long as I don't do this, we'll be good.
Yeah, I mean this one's pretty straightforward.
Oh, nickname. I was trying to think of a nickname. I need to work better on thinking of a nickname before the show starts. Something to do with like maybe Frankenstein.
I was thinking like Frankenmaker, playing off the Thingmaker idea.
I like that Frankenmaker. You win immediately with Frankenmaker. All right, that was short.
Yeah, usually we argue over that a little bit more.
Yeah, people know we edit these down. There's times, I think one episode where we're just sitting there for like a minute, like,
oh yeah,
I don't know what to call it, and just so thank God for editing. But yeah, this is a short one. I just want to touch on it. It looked fun, gave me a little bit of nostalgia just reading it.
Yeah, this one's for the '90s kids.
Oh yeah. Hey, I say even kids today, if you can get your hands on one of these in the goop and if you're interested, I say mess around with this.
And like I said, they might still be in production. Like they're under a different company now. I saw a newer one and it's not like this green and orange boxy thing. Like it looks a lot like the style of the box is a lot more fun looking now. So, I mean, I don't know if it's still being made, but like kids today, they might be able to go out to Walmart and buy one of these, maybe.
And I bet there's creepy crawler fanatics out there that sell molds, custom molds they made over time and all that. So
wouldn't it be wild if there was like a community around this sort of thing?
No, it wouldn't surprise me, but
like you could go on Reddit to like creepy crawlers and find people like trading their creepy crawler ideas, and like this is one of those things where like I don't want to find out either way if that's a thing or not, because like the idea delights me, but it also like if it doesn't exist, then I'll just be depressed for the rest of the night.
Well, my rule with the internet is 90% chance it exists. If you ever like, does this exist? There's a 90% chance it exists. So
yeah, like I found out that there's a community on Reddit surrounding mechanical keyboards. So
That's odd.
Yeah, I actually got pretty deep into that. It's wild. There's a lot that goes on to that stuff. Like people spend thousands of dollars on a keyboard.
That's weird. But that's pretty much it. We got the Thingmaker 495. Anything you want to add? Interesting?
No, I don't got anything else. Just pretty cut and dry here.
All right, cool. Well, I want to thank everyone for stopping by, listening in. We got a bunch of social media stuff now, but I don't remember all that. So, Tristan, you want to take it for there?
So if you want to contact us on social media, our Twitter is @RedactedCast. Our Facebook is Redacted and Expunged. And our email is unauthorizedcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or just to tell us we're dumb babies because we don't know anything about SCP, feel free to reach out to us.
Yes, please do. Cool. Thank you, Tristan. I guess I'll just close out with hoping everyone has a good day, night, afternoon, whatever time it is. And I'll see y'all later.
We'll see you next time, but you won't see us.